I am Minister Omar Atley, and I am extremely elated that we are here today, on this day, signing the increase of the AOV Away pension, the elderly, orphanage, and widow pension. The increase is finally becoming a reality. We received the document and approval from His Excellency on November 15th, and I am here today to share this momentous moment with you. It has been a long time coming, and I'm happy to say that that time has arrived. Seniors will see this benefit in their bank account. The increase to their pension will be noticed at the end of December. The reason we are doing at the end of December, pension is actually prepaid. So in November, you will receive what is called the 13th month, because your payment in November actually represents the December payment. And therefore, to avoid taxation with a large lump sum, we have decided that you, the seniors of St. Martin, will receive this retroactive increase in December. Specifically, December 28th or 29th, the funds, the increase will be in your account. Thank you.
How soon we should start preparing our children. But okay, let's talk about this first. Let's talk about what should students be doing.
Students need to understand what type of college they want and what program. And they need to begin to understand it early. And I think about things like a GPA. We translate all the students' grades into a US-based GPA. Mm-hmm. If you start in ninth grade, we call it ninth grade, whatever the equivalent of that is here in St. Martin, all of the grades from 9th, 10th, 11th are on that transcript when you apply to a college in the U.S. You apply typically in the fall of the last year. So you're going to graduate in May, mm-hmm. and you would apply in September, October, November of that year. And you would be in college the following September. So it's within the last year of when you're going to be ready to go to school. But your grades are for 4 years. So although it's tough to tell a ninth grader and a 10th grader, or a 13 and a 14-year-old, that it's important to get good grades.
Yes.
It is important to get good grades, because the better the grades, the better the scholarships. And the better the scholarships, the better the institution you can go to. But really, and I say, there's a lot of people who don't like testing. I'm a proponent of the SAT or the ACT. I'm a proponent of AP exams. All of those show academic ability. They show college intent, which all translates to colleges wanting to help more, especially students outside of the U.S., because it shows you want to be in the U.S. And you're doing the right things. Mm-hmm. So it's really grades. And then once you realize what your grades are, a student needs to understand what degree they want. And that's where it gets more tricky for a student, because most 18-year-olds change their mind every 3 to 6 months, never mind 4 years of a degree. Yes. And if you start really specific and you change your mind, it gets harder. Whereas if you start broad or general, then you have an opportunity. Okay, I'm going to start in business, but then I'm going to hone in on marketing. Whereas if you start in marketing and then you realize you don't like selling, you don't like sales, you don't like talking, then, and you want to be a manager, then you may be behind. Or if you start in engineering, but then you realize you don't like engineering and you want to go accounting, you always want to start broad. And then you really, your senior year and through the college visits, you start to hone in on schools that have a little bit of flexibility in that first year and second year and allow you to move around.
Do you get the opportunity, will students get the opportunity to change? You just said that it will make it more difficult because it's going to extend the time because they're going to change their major. So I know you're discouraging that, but some students,
it happens.
It happens.
The first year they can basically almost do whatever they want, unless they just totally jump ship. My background is culinary arts. If you start in culinary arts and you switch to biology to go to pre-med, you didn't take any biology courses in culinary arts, so you're going to be behind. Again, culinary is very specific,
Yep.
which isn't a bad route to go if you're 100% sure you want to be a chef. But if you think you're choosing between becoming a nurse and a chef, then you should start general. and pick up culinary your last 2 years instead of your first 2 years. But my son, as an example, is at University of Central Florida right now, and he's changed his major 3 times in 2 years. And he's done now. He's found the one he wanted. And it cost him 3 summer classes, is all it cost him, because he did it early.
Right.
And he did it, 2 were within the engineering college. When you do it from computer science to engineering, math is math. Right. It was very easy. He then switched to hospitality, sport, and entertainment management. And that's where he probably took 2 engineering courses he didn't need to take. And he didn't take 2 of their courses. So you just need to make it up.
At RBC, we know the roles you have to play can change quickly. Whether it's a homeowner, a new parent, today's head chef, or the family chauffeur. Whatever life asks you to be. RBC is a bank for all of you. Win Christmas cash with a no-fee loan from RBC.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances.
I have been made aware of the notice by Prime Minister Jacobs dated November 19th regarding the so-called distribution of the voting cards. And I say distribution with some trepidation because this notice is purportedly for the distribution of voting cards, but contains a schedule of persons having to pick up their voting card at the government administration building. For example, quoting from this notification, and I quote, on Saturday, November 25th, 2023, from 9 to 1 p.m. for all eligible voters of the following districts to collect at the government administration building in Phillipsburg. And then it starts out with District 1, John Lamini Center, and goes on. What is herewith being communicated to the electorate by the government is unacceptable, and I am calling for a swift rectification or clarification. Because as it stands right now, based on aforementioned notice from the Prime Minister, voters are expected to collect, and I stress collect, their voting cards at the civil registry on assigned dates. This, in my opinion, is ludicrous. I hope that this applies to undelivered voting cards and not that every voter must collect his or her voting card on an assigned day at the government administration building. Because if this is indeed the case, it begs the questions. Why has the method of distributing voting cards changed? Explain how it is expected to handle voters from a particular district on any given day as stipulated. Does the government really believe that voters are being better served by this decision? It makes absolutely no logistical or logical sense, and it only adds to the widespread frustration amongst the people of this country and is nothing less than voters' suppression.
The thing is this. In the Council of Ministers, this vote wasn't unanimous. There was a split down the middle in the coalition. The coalition on the floor of Parliament didn't agree with it either, some of the coalition members. So it clearly shows you that the integrity that we want to talk about, this government is integral, is absolutely not true. There's a serious discrepancy about moving the curtains or not. I want to thank the PFP for bringing this to the floor of Parliament, and that the governor, the government, and particularly the Prime Minister picked up on this and ran with the electoral reform. This is a great step moving towards electoral reform. I know there are some people going to question it, and I myself, I have a good legal team. I asked them to give me their opinion. And I want to put this opinion here now too, because I think that's only fair. The question that we have is as follows. I wonder if the Voting Bureau chairperson, as an order measure, can prevent or forbid persons making a selfie with their voting form. So your voting ballot, you take a picture of it with yourself, you hold it up, you take a picture. You're making a selfie. The reason I'm saying this is because in 2014 in the Netherlands, the curtains were down too, but the Minister of, I believe it was Interior Affairs, informed the public that the stem fees are not prohibited by law. So taking a selfie with your voting ballot is not prohibited by law. That has to be cleared up here in St. Martin. Is that allowed? Yes or no? Because if it's allowed, courting or no courting, game on. You see, so we got to understand, Madam Prime Minister and to the chair lady of the Voting Bureau, where we stand with that now. Remember, government can only forbid such or fine somebody for taking a picture of their voting ballot if this is regulated by national ordinance. Not by a national ordinance containing general measures, but by a national ordinance. Food for thought, people. Now, Madam Prime Minister, I just said congratulations and I was proud of you. And you just messed up my whole Monday morning. When I pick up the newspaper and I read that, let me grab it here to make sure I got a headline correct, because I want to. Distribution of voting cards to start November 25th at the government building. Madam Prime Minister, with all due respect to you, you stupid? You're going to send people from district number 1, 2, 3, and 15. That's over 4,000 people. You're going to send them to stand up in the sun in a line to get a voting card. Are you serious? Or you're rigging the elections? Make sure people don't get their voting cards, because nobody gonna come and stand up in the sun. You can't even help 100 people a day that make appointments and go to the government building, but you want 4,000 people to stand up in the hot sun to go wait for a voting card. What happened to the post office? It closed? They ain't functioning anymore? They got no more cards? You're saving money? What are you doing? You see, now this is a court case you're gonna lose, hands down, because you intentionally trying to ensure people don't get their voting ballots. Because all the people you want to get it, you're going to make sure it reaches there. That, though, Prime Minister, is a serious, serious matter. And I'm going to be dealing with this matter publicly. I'm going to call you out on it every time I come on air. And since I'm 3 times a week on air and Tuesday nights, also, brace yourself. Brace yourself for one, because this one is extremely critical what you're doing now. Christmas seasons are coming and all these things. And you go tell people to stand up in the sun to wait for a voting card? No, send them around with the post office, and whatever doesn't get given out, be it 5,000, at least 17,000 were given out. Don't play this game. Don't do that.
SXM, your social and health insurance. SXM, your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, your social and health insurances.
At RBC, we know the roles you have to play can change quickly. Whether it's a homeowner, a new parent, today's head chef, or the family chauffeur. Whatever life asks you to be. RBC is a bank for all of you. Win Christmas cash with a no-fee loan from RBC.
Picking up the pieces for some residents in Danvers, St. Thomas will not be easy. It's been days now since they were representatives for the flooding.
A 5-man come inside of my house. The carpet, right on water, all boat in my house. You see it? 5-man come from me, water catch me on my stomach. I'm nearly dead last night.
About after 8 today, I rode on the shop box. And we see the gully start rise. At the same time, we call the neighbor over there. And I tell him to watch the gully and thing. And by the time we come up on the road, we just see the river busting on the road. At the same time, I know we come across and them stuck over there. Now them not have to show them, man. Then at the same time, come back across. And I try to go back over there. But by the time we go back over there, get rough.
They're of the view it could have been avoided.
We in a serious problem down here. Serious problem, I tell you now.
So the grind, you need the grind to fix?
Yeah, so we need the grind, not just the grind we need to fix. Like from up at the bridge, we need it to mine out so that the water can stay in the middle of the river.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness toured affected areas in St. Thomas and promised help for all those who have been impacted by the recent weather system. Acting Director General Richard Thompson was speaking on the morning agenda on Power 106 Monday. Mr. Thompson says the flood alert system gives messages and digital video feed. He says there's a system in Clarendon that is working quite well for that area.
The one out in Clarendon is at the Alley Bridge. Alley Bridge is similar in construction to the flat bridge, where when the water comes down, it flows over the bridge. So you put in your real-time SMS messaging system, you put in your camera system, and that goes to the various persons within the local area. So it goes to the municipal corporation, it goes to the fire brigade, it goes to police, and other persons that the local authority would see necessary within their local authority as part of the first response system.
As it relates to OTPEM working with telecommunication providers to send critical messages to community members via SMS, Mr. Thompson says that plan is still in train and is well advanced.
We actually did testing of that during COVID, and we did testing of it some time ago at the early stage in March. But the data sharing process is a legal hurdle that we are working through to ensure that we can finalize that process and send out, and whenever time there's an emergency, to send what we call mass notification to the general public.